For those of you who are not aware, so many of you are probably aware if you're returning viewers that everything we do on the stream is pretty much driven by viewer donations. The people that support my content dictate the decks that we play. For larger donations, for a $50+ donation, I am willing to build a deck around a card or cards of your choosing. So this deck that we have in front of you here, someone donated was like, do you think you can build a semi-competitive deck surrounding 4 Grave Titan? I was like, yeah, I think we can build a reasonable deck around 4 Grave Titan. So this is my attempt to build a semi-competitive deck around 4 copies of the card Grave Titan. We're basically a Reanimator-esque deck, which Discovery goes really sweet in. Got 4 copies of Unburial Rites, and we can also just like cast our 6-mana spell here, right? So we're gonna dive into a league here momentarily and be on our way.
To be clear, I had a much better suggestion than Mindstone, but
listen. We're not playing Collation Relic. I want my mana rock to cycle.
I want Titan on 4, Jeff.
Titan. I can Titan on 4 with the Unburial Rites, kid.
Damn it, Jeff. Thanks for stopping by, Shaka Shaka. Yeah, I think it's sweet.
And remember, if you want a lot more content on the green-black deck, there are probably over a dozen leagues with it on my website at this point. There's a lot of them. The deck's really sweet, and we've played it a ton.
Yeah, we should play Heartless Summoning in our Lingering Souls deck. I know that's not what you were saying, by the way. That's just my... That's good. That's just some deck building stuff that would get submitted.
It's also bad with Grave Titan, because he makes 2/2s.
He makes 1/1s.
He makes 1/1s. Yep, we are playing this purely for the Discovery cantrip. And for
Coalition Relic could cast Dispersal!
Stop it. Stop it. Your Relic is dead. Your Relic is dead. Oh... Do you want to bounce over and open that far window?
Yeah. It is getting warm now.
Yeah. And it's really...
I come to the Midwest and it's like 70? What is this?
It's only supposed to be like a high of 64 today.
Yeah. Well, yesterday was absurd.
Yesterday was up to 90.
I get off the plane and immediately have to take off layers.
Stream Decker has not been updated. Thank you.
Good catch.
Good catch. Thank you.
When do you think WotC will just use these as their dice?
Listen, man, they're very expensive and hard to come by.
For those wondering, this is what I suggested. It's totally playable, right? That's good content. It's great content. I can't believe you have this pile over here, by the way.
Sir,
I know what you're shuffling cards.
Those are my shuffling cards.
I know they're your shuffling cards.
I was just about to say, those are my shuffling cards. They're a throwback to a simpler time.
When Muscle Burst was useful?
Muscle Burst was never useful.
Yeah, you're right, but Kindle was great.
We're going to the Open in Columbus this weekend. It is a team tournament. I am playing Modern and Kent is playing Legacy.
There's only one art relic, and that's the original one. I don't know. That's whatever one's in the cube. I think it's the old art relic.
All right, I'm going to keep this with a scry.
Hey, Jeff.
Listen, I have a Dispersal, Kent. If I draw a second land, Dispersal will find me a third, I believe.
Bronze, green-black. Exterminator, I'm playing Grixis Control. The only thing that we are not disclosing because one is just we don't know, and it's a week 1 is our standard deck. Yeah. Oh, Spirits, you're supposed to beat this deck?
No. I don't know.
So you can't beat this, and you can't beat this.
I might be able to beat
You can't beat this.
I think this is probably the one I have to take, right? Because this getting double going is like super unbeatable.
Yeah, for sure.
Chris Van Meter is our Legacy player.
The reason I selected Grixis Control, it's Grixis. I'm just calling it Grixis. It is the best, in my opinion, mid-range deck that just gets you down to limited resources in both players' hands, and then it turns into making like decisions around 1 to 2 factors. That's the type of Legacy I like to play. I played a ton of Sultai Delver back when it was him, Delver, Goyf, Lily, and just really enjoyed being able to take the control role in the aggressive matchups, but have enough card advantage against the control decks that I like wasn't.
So Chris actually got the band back together himself. So Van Meter was like, I'm itching to play Magic. I got a good price on a flight. Do you want to team up? And I was like, I wasn't planning to go to Columbus, but Van Meter offered. And for those that aren't familiar with Van Meter, his record in week 1 standard events is absurd. I think he has Alex Jet. Thank you for the 4-month resub there. He's got a bunch of wins. He's got more top 8 conversions than basically anybody else in week 1 tournaments. Just very, very good, consistent player. There's 2 types of decks you can register in Legacy. Ones that involve Brainstorm and Ponder, and ones that are wrong.
Yeah, Greg, I'm gonna go with that statement on it. Like, I think Elves is, like, reasonable, but it's lacking in those other cards. And if there was a guaranteed amount of, like, actual Delver decks, I would say Elves is great. But I think as soon as you play against Grixis or Miracles, just scoop them up. Or, what is it? Sneak and fuck or fuck, whatever. The Sneak and Show deck.
They get to double Lord here and attack me for 9. Things aren't looking good for our hero, chat.
Cries and Eldrazi post.
Cries. Listen, if you enjoy your non-brainstorm deck, you should play it. That is the thing that a lot of people, especially people who are aiming to be competitive, fall short of in Magic a lot of the time. Magic is a game you need to be playing for fun. I drew my Liliana. That's my answer to the Geist.
You know, yeah, I didn't want to say it because Jeff is trying to make this a little more, you know, PG-13, PG plus rated, but that's the name of the deck.
Snow.
God,
that window feels amazing. That open window.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna trim.
By the way, did we lose that because we were slow and clunky and the mono? Shh. Okay, just checking.
I've got Elesh Norns in my deck. Oh, I can't cut the Unburial Rites. Can bring in Elesh.
Right, because you're bringing it, but you cut some Grave Titans.
I think I have to cut Grave Titans in this matchup. They just doesn't attack and block. I think if he attacked or blocked, he'd be fine, but he just doesn't do that in this matchup.
So you have to cut 2 of your slowest cards.
I trim.
Probably some souls.
Is it?
It's like a soul, 4 mana, or one of the lilies or something.
I guess this lets me discard things from my hand, which is key. It's probably, they have a lot of bad poopers. Like, so there's going to be some situations where I really want Liliana the Veil because she cleans out Gates of St. Traft in some spots, but she doesn't always do that. I'll trade by Texas Fall for Fall. No, I really like our Fall. It feels beautiful.
Yeah, I'm only complaining because I expected it to be chilly, and I get off the plane and it's, like, actually hot. It was just weird. I had to put on shorts. Shouldn't there be sweepers in here because we have a bunch of reanimate effects?
So I have a sweeper. I have a sweeper here. So why not make Esper? So I actually started with the idea of making Esper, and I had like Thought Scours and stuff in there, and I was looking at the cards that I was playing, and I kept looking at them, and I was like, these blue cards really don't seem like they're worth the splash. And like, if you're familiar with my content, you'll know I'm a big proponent of having consistent 2-color mana bases that don't deal you a bunch of damage, so I fell back to that.
Seriously though, if there's any developers that enjoy making Twitch, what it would be like add-ons, I would love a way to do reactions to comments on Twitch, or to be able to like. I
don't think you can interact with. I don't think any of the extensions let you interact with chat, which is sad.
But that's the extension I want, is the one that like lets someone collect like comment accolades or whatever.
Yeah,
like
comment upvotes.
Yeah. Yeah, J Robes, it's terrible that it's down for maintenance in the middle of the day when people want to spend money. Last I checked, folks in the United States don't spend a lot of money between like 1 and 4 a.m. I don't know, but I like, it's new company, you know, you gotta work.
Yeah, listen, Wizards of the Coast is a small indie company, and eventually they'll figure out the appropriate time to position downtime.
Bronze, 100% for free.
So the non-sarcastic answer to what you should be playing in Legacy is you either play the Brainstorm Ponder deck, or you play a metagame deck against the Brainstorm Ponder deck, like Death and Taxes, like 4-Color Loam, like Eldrazi, like put Chalice of the Void or Thalia in your deck, or put Brainstorms and stuff in your deck.
Yeah, Scouty kind of, I mean, basically, like, I'd be fine with the Facebook system, but like just a way for people to basically like good and funny comments from other folks in chat, because like we're trying to increase interaction, and I think that that's a legitimate way. Get that in the graveyard. Probably the other one too.
Yeah. That was good. We drew a card. We've been to Lingering Souls. I think this card's sweet. I'm excited to put this in bad black-white decks moving forward.
I think it'll be great in Standard. I think like we'll find that it's super fun in Standard.
Yeah, I've got 4 of them in the blue-black deck if we get to it today. When they realize draft data has a problem and need to fix it, yep.
McCullough, anything's an option, but I don't think it'd be good because Modern is like turn 3 format.
Yeah, the problem is that like a lot of those cards there, McCullough, are just like they're very slow and clunky. So like what I tried to do here was fit in a reanimation style package while still having a lot of efficient interaction in it, so we can like potentially survive. I think one of our biggest issues in this matchup is that their creatures are evasive. So like against most tribal decks, we're going to be able to pick apart their key cards, then Grave Titan can lock up the board. But in a matchup like this where Grave Titan doesn't get to block, I think it's going to be really hard for us.
Nick Lange, I mean, that's just a categorically disingenuous statement. It's very obvious that the majority of the country is awake during first shift. Like,
correct. Yes. Obviously, there are people who are awake overnight, but there are a lot of data point and usage studies that show that services like that are less used third shift. Just
that's all it is. Yeah. Yeah, that wide window of 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. So that gives you 6 hours where you just know
that is a discovery dispersal. That's the selection card we were playing in Griselbrand.
Hey Jeff, we're gonna kill this noble hierarch.
It's gonna be deader than a doornail.
Cool. Yeah, and anybody says that like they couldn't fix updates. Every other company that pushes midnight updates has their development, their engineering team.
You just have to pay people.
That's it. Right. That's all it is. It's like, look, we're gonna.
Their downtime is in the middle of the day for one reason: they're cheap.
Yep.
That is the only reason. You have to pay people overtime to have them work third shift.
Mm-hmm. Well, technical skilled folks, because they will go.
Okay, so.
Sorry, Bronze. That's
I don't think you should give WotC any crap at all for sponsoring streams. In fact, I would argue that Wizards of the Coast sponsoring streams is one of the first good marketing things they've done, maybe ever, for Magic. So, like, that is a good, efficient use of advertising dollars, and you don't want to smack the dog in the face after it's done something good. You don't, that's negative reinforcement for a good thing. Yeah. Don't do that.
I think it is fair to critique the method in which they're trying to grow, but like you really need to have a caveat when you throw that critique out there. But that's nuance with statements is not what
you should check the wrap-up segment, Sanity.
100%.
There's a good you should check that. There's a lot of good thoughts explicitly on that in the wrap-up segment. As someone who plays a lot of Magic, Arena has felt well done, and it makes me excited to play Magic. I like Modern. Modern is my favorite format, but I am excited to get to Arena later today after we get through our queue of Modern decks that we have queued up, because not only is Standard fun, but playing Arena is a video game, and video games are fun.
Yeah.
I like video games. So, my opponent is going to learn a valuable lesson this game, hopefully. Do not spell queller spells when they're flashed back unless you're going to kill the opponent, because if I kill this spell queller, this Lingering Souls goes back on the stack and then it goes back into my discard pile.
Does his deck attack with flash?
I mean, there's a chance that like they have enough rattle chains and hexproof stuff that we're never going to kill this. Nope. But if we do kill this, they gave us extra tokens. The queue is unfrozen for explicitly standard decks at the moment, because I need to gauge what the interest is in standard donation decks. So I'm going to start by doing this. See if this resolves. I think I just slam Titan here and just like get to racing. There's a good chance they have some kind of interaction up, and hopefully it doesn't interact with Grave Titan. At different times around the world to fit the least draft for the area. Yeah, Nivik. And like... Well, I mean, if they path the Titan still resolves and I still get tokens. So like getting tokens was my ultimate goal here. If we draw Elesh Norn, we can actually just like cast Elesh Norn next turn, which is sweet. It's fine, McCullough. We were planning to do a long stream today anyways. And as everybody knows, the dollar's direct on this channel. There is a Vexing Devil Pelt Collector deck in the queue. In fact, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that later today. I'm going to add that to the title since we took Green Black Rock out. So, planning to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna do a bunch of Modern today. Alright, so Last Hope is dead here, unfortunately. Yeah, they probably have multiple Quellers here, which is bad for us. I'm gonna go ahead and cycle this and see where we get. really like a Path to Exile or a Fatal Push here.
You meant that, right? Good news is you can probably race this.
I'm going to go ahead and attack with everything here, because if they block one of our zombies, I can kill this with Collective Brutality. The Grave Titan also. It is tough to race the Grave Titan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not too into any type of sporting type stuff. I mean, Win Magus, you'd be surprised at how many streams exist on Twitch that don't let dollars direct what they do.
It's so ridiculous.
It's like, it's not like I did anything innovative here. I just let people who pay me money decide what we do. Grave Titan and Lily Emblem, that's what we call a combo, Jackal Girl. It's like a combo deck.
Yeah, Phyrexian, I actually worked adjacent to professional baseball for the past year. Pretty big sports fan, but like Chicagoland teams, and I view competitive, like professional sports, strictly through the like optimal performance, like constant improvement lens. So it was really interesting working near professional and college baseball players.
The modern queues aren't frozen, they're just slowed. So people that want to send in a large donation can still add modern decks to the queue, and tier 3 subs can still add decks to the queue. In fact, that's one of the reasons why the queue's been slowed for so long, is because people have still been adding decks while it's slowed, which I'm not complaining about. It's encouraged, but
Doof, the orgs that I think do the best job, Indians, Twins are like two teams that I, the Astros are teams that I think their orgs do great development. But like as far as like the team that I like, because I was raised in the area, all that, the Cubs. Yeah, I mean, I worked with Driveline Baseball for a while, so they work quite a bit with college baseball, baseball at all levels, so.
donation queue is now the elitist queue. Yeah, so they hit the path a turn late, arguably, and like, I have 4 points of reach in my hand here. So, we only need to connect with one of these. You see standard decks and lists. If you go to bit.ly/deck queue, or just go to my website, jeffhogan.com, and click the deck queue there, the standard decks are sorted in the donation queue with everything else. The queue is sorted by format, and then it's sorted by total points within the format.
Well, Josh, if you're a Magic fan, Kyle, the man over at Driveline, is a Magic nerd. That's actually how he hooked me into the game, or into working for him.
What's the black-white deck gonna do? Lightning bolt us? Hoda! Get him!
They're doing some good work out there in Kent right now. So if you have the ability to come out for an assessment, it might be worth your time, man.
I'm gonna cut these veils, I think.
And if you haven't thrown on a Edgertronic yet, little pitch design action. I've heard some good things from people. Just getting that information to close that loop.
Jeff is like a puppet, and we chat are the puppet masters. That is exactly correct. That is an apt description. What are my thoughts on showing the hand at the end? It's like it's a salty play, right? Just like, I'm so unlucky. I had all of these, and I couldn't do nothing with them.
Yeah, I get that, Josh. I worked with a good amount of folks in, like, the Frontier, like, yeah. Right now is when they're doing assessments for most of your, some of your minor leaguers, unless, I don't know, like, what's your timeline with, you probably don't have instructs. But anyway, 425-523-4030.
Is there a line where you kill a spirit and drain 2 of our combat? They could have made another spirit. No, they couldn't have made another spirit, Scotty. They're out of creatures in their bin. Moorland Haunt explicitly needs creatures to exile.
Josh, I'm so sorry that they're still on the TrackMan technology. What he just said, the TrackMan stuff that they use, is like 5 to 6 years. It's bad. It's just bad. They have these systems in all these major league parks that are supposed to track like the way pitches move. They literally have to have multiple interns who scrub the data because it's inaccurate and doesn't do it correctly. And there are cheaper systems that are available that like can be set up in other ways, but teams don't use it because contracts.
Their mana must be...
And I'm describing that terribly, but it's bad.
Their mana must be really bad this game if they let on Horizon Canopy. I guess they kept... Where'd they scry? They scried bottom. Well. They take Supreme Phantom? I think I take Supreme Phantom, right? So they don't have a Lord to copy?
Trackman is used for that as well. Oh man, I hope I'm not butchering. No. The Trackman's the black box that's supposed to measure the parks, and it's garbage. But yes, they use it for golf.
All right, looking for some lands. I'm gonna keep one of these. Might be greedy. I don't know. I've got 2 shots to draw another land here. Those are, yeah, they're kind of sort of lands. They're like half lands. Oh, they can copy Titan. Listen, Kent, I'm gonna need you to get off the sports and focus on things like letting our opponent copy our Titan. Yeah, fielding them is not ideal. I have this other Inquisition in hand though too, so like I'm gonna get to Inquisition the Phantasmal Image most likely.
Good, Josh. I'm glad I'm not nuts in remembering. I had a friend, a guy that I worked with me at Driveline. I shouldn't say friend, like hired him in that was an intern with the Rays and mentioned that was his job. His entire job was to fix data, and they paid him like $6 an hour or something. Yeah, it's. Ugh.
All right, so I assume this is getting Spellquellered, which is fine because we picked up Path to Exile. It's possible that I was wrong to bin the second field, but I really need like more colored sources. Next turn I can go Inquisition plus Path to Exile. They have another Spellqueller or a Hexproof Lord. I feel bad here.
One more Sport Ball comment, and then I'll be done.
Okay.
Watch the ESPN2 stats broadcasts for the playoffs. They did one for it was one of the playoff games, basically, where instead of the primary broadcast with the old crotchety jerks, they did a separate one that was stats and like newer data focused, and it was the highest rated alternative broadcast like ever.
Trad, thank you for the brand new Prime support there. I appreciate that. Welcome. Really want another black source here.
Right, Dylan? Oh, it's so bad. Oh, Josh, anyone that tells you that athletes aren't nerdy doesn't know real athletes. I mean,
Eternal Witness, thank you for the 4-month free sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So they have Phantasmal Image and then cards I don't know at this point. Are they pathing their own thing here?
Unfortunately, Jeff can't blame me for his hair loss. I mean, simply put, the level of obsession and attention to detail, like nerds have for their various games, it's a direct translation to the amount of like dedication you need to be a professional athlete, and the obsession you need around things like how does my front leg move, or what is my glove side, or
well the big difference I assume between sports win percentages and modern win percentages, Larenex, is that the people talking about their sports win percentages are using actual data instead of making stuff up.
The downside is most sports metrics that they measure it by, there's a lot of it that is just useless. Batting average, useless stat.
So I know they have a collected company in their hand.
I love Chart Party, -3 Karn. If anybody likes math and likes math and sports, Chart Party is fuego.
So they're going to try and company into a spell queller here, but I'm kind of okay with them quelling my Lingering Souls. At the same time, I kind of want to get my second black for this Liliana the Last Hope. I think I'm actually going to pass here, and then when they tap out at my end step for company, I will field one of their Horizon Canopies.
Darthinus, I have no clue what a latex template is. Sounded like a legitimate request.
Alright.
Yeah, again, Gar, that's a good one, especially if you want to, feel like you're reading about the world as a whole from their political side. Then you can click over and suddenly you get sports.
Kent's real chipper. Is that coffee?
Yeah.
Kids these days and your coffee. You think WotC will eventually consolidate Moto and Arena with so many of their players heavily invested in Magic Online? Can they really expect people to begin with new collections from scratch in Arena? So there are a lot of people, especially even ones who are invested Magic players, that will just never touch Magic Online, or have touched it in the past and will never touch it again. So I think Arena is not only striking into a new market of people who have never played a digital Magic product, but I think Arena is also going to touch into a market of people who have played digital Magic products in the past and been dissatisfied with what they saw.
Hey Jeff, your chat's also IT support now. Oh.
I don't think they will get rid of Magic Online as long as it is making money. They don't have, as long as Magic Online is turning a profit, they do not have a compelling reason to stop producing it. In Arena, you do not directly buy cards. That is correct. Arena follows the model of basically every other digital card game out there where you're required to buy packs. I'd honestly be pretty surprised they ever brought Modern to Arena. I think it's far more likely that we see a new non-rotating format for Arena rather than bring the existing non-rotating format that we have now into Arena.
Ooh, and then maybe Legacy will actually die, and we can talk about how Modern has been killed for the next 5 or 6 years. Cedric, help us out. Kill another format.
Kill another format. So, I think I'm just flashing these back. I could Fatal Push here. I think I'm gonna
this
flash
feels
these back.
miserable.
Yeah, the fact that we've missed lands so much is bad. Like, if they didn't have the Mausoleum Wanderer in play, I could Collective Brutality, full escalate, and like bin Grave Titan and Unburial Rites and have a good shot that way. But okay, now that they got rid of that, that's good for us. So I can like chump with one of these spirits next turn to gain 3, take 3 on the ground, and then full escalate this here, and then maybe get Grave Titan going.
Yeah, Nivik, it's insane. How difficult it is to hit a baseball.
I think it would be, I think you're overestimating nostalgia, Gabriel Paints, and I think even if they introduce a new non-rotating format, they will just, and this is why they're hesitant to do it and haven't done it as of yet. Anytime you introduce a new format like that, you're segmenting your player base a little bit. So people don't stop playing formats of Magic that are as big and popular as Modern are, right? Like, you just are creating another bucket to fill your players into by creating a new non-rotating format.
Unfortunately, HA7 Sue, yeah, the 5th card, you just get a big old, I'm sorry.
Whoa, you get a very, very tiny amount of progress towards the next one. Towards our wild card. Very
I'm
tiny.
sorry.
Yep. AGH, thank you for the 6-month resub there. I appreciate the half a year. Welcome back.
Like, imagine you make your 4th Teferi, and then your next pack you open.
Correct, has a Teferi in it.
I would.
Yep, it feels really bad.
Puke all over my screen. Be like,
oh. All right, well, this Unburial Rites doesn't do much anymore, so I'm gonna. Well, I was gonna bin the Grave Titan too, so we could Unburial Rites it back, but now we're just gonna kill and drain.
yeah, Moan, it eventually will. Well, hopefully it won't, because WotC will not let it. But
will Magic eventually suffer from the too many bucket problem? I don't think so. Like, Magic is a game where like we're continually growing and expanding, right? So like the idea is that like as you slowly add more formats, you increase the player base to fill those formats out, right? I think I'm going to hold the Spirit Token this turn because I would like to use it to protect my Liliana the last hope moving forward.
well,
Too many buckets basically refers to too many game modes, Nivik. You're pulling your players in too many different directions, effectively.
segmenting your player base, and then it starts to have,
All
like,
right,
because it's about like active users. Like, you got to have enough people
I'm
around.
going to lead on Fatal Push here.
Ooh, this looks good.
And then we get to play Last Hope and plus here.
Then block.
And then, I mean, she'll be at 4. We might not even have to block next turn, honestly. And then this Discovery can hopefully help us find a land for this Grave Titan. The Shambling Vent on the ground represents a way to buffer our health total back a little bit here. I mean, WotC just deleted support for extended support mode. Well, so I think that's a dishonest argument, Gabriel Paints, if you're familiar with how popular extended was at the time. Like, Modern is easily the most popular competitive format Magic has ever had, whereas extended was kind of just like this afterthought that they kind of had to let people play with cards that weren't playable in Legacy. Like, one of the reasons they killed Extended is because it didn't have a following. It wasn't like Extended was absurdly popular and there were a bunch of people upset that it was no longer a thing. I guess that's very different.
The name, Boneless Wing, Boner King. That's an 80 grade chat name. Right
I'm
there.
never gonna be able to not see
so
Boner
good.
King again.
Right.
I always called him Boner King. I've definitely pronounced it as Boner King every time they've been in chat previously.
German.
And now I'm never gonna not see Boner. You've ruined this for me. I had this pure innocent name in my mind for that, and now there's nothing but degenerate filth on my screen every time I look.
That's what I'm here for.
That's what you're here for. He's made my life worse, chat. He's made my life worse. Disdainful stroke. Brutal.
How could you, Jeff?
Wait, you've never heard me say Banurking? Banurking. Banurking. You've destroyed what was left of my innocence and childhood. As a balding middle-aged man, I now have none left. You've destroyed my hope.
You are a youngin' compared to me, which blows my mind.
All right, so they get to pressure us a little bit here. Next turn, the Shambling Vent might be our saving grace, honestly. If we can find a Doomblade for this Spell Queller, we have a real shot here. But if we don't find a way to kill this Spell Queller ASAP, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. An old angry soul.
It's a weird catch, Coons. Like, when the name is obviously meant to be a joke, I'm going to laugh at it. But when your name has a phonetic similarity, I try not to, because that's like making fun of a culture. It's weird. And it might sound like a sliding position, because it is.
How are team events going to work with a new non-rotating format? No, they'll drop Legacy. Not close. Not close. Legacy is not a popular format. The only reason that it's included in team tournaments now is because it's the only reasonable third constructed format. What are you gonna do? Vintage or Brawl? Like, I fully expect that. Actually, I'm going to fire up Shambles first here, because if they block with Supreme Phantom, Liliana then gets to kill the Supreme Phantom.
Corvus, we don't have any blue.
Pauper is less popular than Legacy. Generically, and if you, again, this is the part where a bunch of people pipe up and tell me, well, Pauper's really popular in my LGS, and I believe you that it's popular at your LGS, but like generically as a whole, it's these other formats are less popular.
Seattle has a really dedicated Pauper scene with the Rags to Riches tournament at Mox Boarding House, and I've talked to some of the guys that run the tournaments. It's the same people, and they don't play other formats.
Yes,
like it's a very like not all of them. But Joe and Teddy, love you guys, Pauper specialists that just don't play any other Magic. It's their choice. That's what they enjoy doing. I think it's similar in that regard. Also, the price difference in that format
is, yep.
You get people that are like, okay, I play this. Everything else is too expensive, which is fine.
All right, and I'm just going to keep these Lingering Souls back, defending my Liliana the Last Hope. If we can ult her, she wins the game pretty quickly. And again, I'm going to time people out for not constructive in specific formats, like Pauper sucks. You want to tell me why it sucks and be articulate, I am fine with that.
Exactly what Neon Nor 99 did. It's popular here in Brazil because of currency rates. I get that, like the exchange rate, you know, then it's an affordable format there. Nivik, Taco Nights tonight.
We're doing Taco Night is this evening. We're streaming until the kids go to bed, and then we're eating tacos and playing board games.
As someone who's watched a lot of high-end or competitive Pauper, it is not fun to watch.
Pauper is all the setup of Legacy with none of the payoff. I agree with that. It has all the powerful spells and none of the interesting threats.
5 points to Gryffindor.
That is a very fantastic way to talk about it.
Yep.
Everyone ready for, oh baby, how about Grave Titan? You ready for the Titan, baby? Don't stroke me. Don't stroke my Titan.
Stroke it.
Don't stroke my Titan.
Gently stroke it.
My Titan doesn't like to be stroked. He's very sensitive about the stroking.
I'm so ready for North Market, Kyle.
Yeah! Grave Titan Liliana emblem. Let's go! Living the dream, chat. Living the dream. Don't mind me, just making some boys. Oh, yeah, just zombie, zombie, zombie.
I just want to say I hate everything about this.
Listen. Grave Titan makes these zombies. Liliana makes these zombies. Not all zombies are the same, Kenketter.
Why does Grave Titan make this zombie with this symbol when it's from this set? Give me some consistency!
I need zombies. I need zombies.
Who remembers Blameworth? We're going back to it.
Blameworth. Look at that. Undefeated. Clearly... We have broken the format.
Are we 2-0?
And I know we're 1-0, so this is a long game.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was.
We got stomped in the first one really quickly.
I thought we lost that match and we were 1-1. I thought we had moved on to the second one.
All right, while we're waiting for the next match in this league to pop, I'd like to thank everyone for hanging out today. Welcome to the first day of KentCon. Today and then Monday and Tuesday next week, I will be joined by Kent Cutter after we play in the Open this weekend. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic, a lot of Modern especially, here 30-plus hours a week. If you enjoy my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the reason that I'm able to do what I do as often as I do it. I love playing Magic and I love streaming, but they're the people that allow me to do this as a job. They are the folks that keep me employed. Past subscribing, you can also support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. Love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you, and if you use code HoaglandPayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there with them. CoolStuffInc.com. Buy and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles using promo code Jeff5. You get 5% on Magic, Pokemon, Warhammer, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. BCW Supplies. Love to help you pick your very valuable Magic cards and their gaming accessories. They do sleeves, deck boxes, and all sorts of other great stuff. You can save 10% on your orders at bcwsupplies.com by using code Jeff10. And of course, Lisa would like to get you on your way to a better night's sleep. Christy and I have been sleeping with Lisa for the last 3 months now, and we really love it. I don't think we'd ever go back to traditional pillow top mattress. You can save $160 or more on your new mattress with them by checking out links bit.ly/ShugoBedUS and bit.ly/ShugoBedCA. Ooh, I love that. I love that new banner. It's my favorite.
Looks good. I like the curve.
It turned out really well.
Yeah, it does look good. Yes, you'll probably be playing against me in Legacy.
Dorks, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Welcome.
Bada Gaboosh, 30 years young.
What about Transformer cards aren't for sale yet, right? I think they actually had a thing on their website. Cool stuff sells pretty much everything, TCG wise. The new banner is this bottom one, Zach. The welcome to Hoaglandia banner. We had my graphics guy do up a better one. The old bubbly blue one I always felt looked a little awkward, but I didn't have a good idea to do.
Yeah, it's crazy, Bada.
Extra shield time. You're welcome, Chad. Zach, bringing more adverts to the stream.
Assist.
The sponsors, thank you for your service, Zach. Boy, I've been watching for a while. Thank you for the 8-month resubscription. I appreciate that. Thank you for the continued support.
What a beetle. You're my hero. That's what you got to do. You got to carry the blame worth going.
Whenever something goes wrong on Bodo, I call Blizzard support and ask for Worth so I could blame him directly. Does he work for Blizzard now?
I think he does. Yeah. It's I don't know Worth like super well myself, but he was friends with my old employer, like very good friends, and he's a great guy. I actually felt bad when people were like, blame Worth, and I'm like, I can say he cares in every way, shape, and form that he can.
Listen, Wizards of the Coast is innovating in a lot of areas, but hiring people to work overnight is not one of them.
Yep.
So, Isolated Chapel looking exceptionally awkward here. I elected to play Isolated Chapel in this deck as opposed to Concealed Courtyard because I'm trying to curve up to Grave Titans and other stuff like that.
Lawrence Punch. That couldn't be more true. Until the heat death of the universe.
Listen.
Not
at least I'm consistent, okay?
It's true. And it's not a Meme Thursday, it's Democracy Thursday thing. I don't have a good one. Somebody paid to play this. Or to have Jeff build it.
I would like the record to reflect that we are currently undefeated, and if we 5-0 this league, I have to audible this weekend. Ken just tensed up a little bit there. Often wrong, never uncertain. That's a great way to put it, Burgle. You got to say it with confidence. It's all about
delivery.
Life is about delivery, chat. Fake it till you make it. All right, so we're gonna take 3, 4, 5, probably 6, 7, 8, 9. We are quickly approaching dead here. I noticed the ad banner goes blank after Cool Stuff Inc. Oh, is it? Oh, because I moved one and I had to two.
RDRK, that couldn't be more true. I've been following that election for those that care, and it's interesting. But I don't want to get too deep into that.
I'm gonna fix that real quick. Dropbox.
And before it goes down this route, Nobody cares about person. So, new topic.
So they bolted us. They held on to the mutagenic growth. They could burn it here. They burned the growth. So we're at 7, and mutagenic growth is our last card.
Oh, our boy Willie has an actual summarization of the GP announcements. Bless.
We are dead on board. I guess I can hit a Doomblade here and kill the Wild Nicottle. Fortunately, I don't have a land to cast that Brutality. Otherwise, it would be absurd. Gosh, that Brutality would have killed that, put aside, taken the thing out of their hand.
But it didn't.
It didn't. I died. Why, Shambling Vent? Why? Why must you shamble so slowly? Nice. Yeah, if we get through all the modern stuff we have on the docket today, we're gonna close a little bit of standard. If we got a lot of modern to get through.
What card is called Fox News?
Disinformation campaign.
Wow, that's super good.
Yeah, I was proud of myself.
A plus. A plus.
That's just good card, David.
Oh.
If Kent Ketter is your spirit animal, does that make Stormbreath Dragon your spirit animal as well by proxy? Kent's playing Grixis good cards.
Yep. The deck formerly known as Check Pile. I like that name.
Formerly known.
The name Grixis Control is disingenuous.
It's not a control deck.
It's not.
We're playing Black Green Rock in both formats. We just put the necessary. Ain't that a heck of a 6?
Wow.
That is.
Question.
That is. I mean, this hand could be anything. I'm taking that one, but I don't know what the rest of their hand looks like. I've looked at their hand and I have not a clue. Probably not tonight, Anner. We're playing board games tonight since Kent's in town.
That is probably not incorrect, Jackal Girl. That I.
Did you find both a land and a 1-drop?
What?
Is this Turbo Death Shadow?
Jeff.
I'm gonna take 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just making sure we're clear here. Woo, doggy. All right, show me Unburial Rites, then draw me a land.
Yeah, I hope they Death Shadow us.
I think I have to bottoms up here.
Yeah.
You get 2 shots at the black source here. Ew. Listen, it's better than missing. Can we please refer to the opponent's deck as just Shadow Zoo? Please and thank you. The whole suicide zoo, suicide, that whole is it makes light of a very serious topic. I know that nomenclature is something that's been in Magic for a while, but I prefer that we don't use it on this channel.
You could call it like Life Total Zoo or Life Pad Zoo.
I think Death Shadow Zoo is appropriate.
It's not incorrect.
It describes what it's going to do, right?
Absolutely. Impolite Death Shadow.
Yeah, I think you're correct. There's a good chance there's Pulp Collectors in the opponent's deck.
Engineer, I'm playing Grixis, so Swamps and Islands.
Wow, they didn't play the Death Shadow out last turn. That seems loose.
Maybe, well, because it would have been a 2/2? Maybe they were worried about it getting, I don't know, killed?
Yeah, I guess, but like, I don't, like, any of my Doomblades are gonna like.
Look, man, I don't have an answer for you.
This is the solar flare things we're looking for here, chat. The old, just, you know, curving out. Thank you for the timeout, Anner. Good catch.
Yes, it is Shaka. They're switching this weekend to the which I like the shift to going to the team format for the weekend. Yeah, Tim Older. Definitely want to hit up Melt. I haven't been there, even though I've been to Columbus 1.5 billion times. We'll just see if it works out with the schedule.
Untapped land.
Because I know Jeff will eat it. You'll eat grilled cheese.
Untapped lands.
It is called Solar Titan because the original creator of Solar Flare, a Japanese player, stated it was based off the Dragon Ball Z IP lore, and then you change Flare to Titan because Titans. Boom. Matt Mann linked us like the exact article that he was interviewed. I can't remember the guy's name. Oh, that's a shame, Haskell. But I also think a lot of people, it's like a trope to do the whole, they have the growth in hand?
No, they bend it.
Okay. I think it's really common for folks to be like, this is worse than it was, with no change whatsoever type of thing.
Looking for land, looking for land.
Thank you, Matt Man. That's what it is. It was a good article, too. Yeah, microbiologist. North Market has always been the center of existence when it comes to Magic events. It was actually the reason why I like to go into Columbus events.
Yep.
I bombed out. I'm just going to go drown my sorrows. And
Is there an estimated time when you'll be playing Vexing Zoo? So Vexing Zoo, the decks in the stream title are the order in which we're playing them. Ooh. So Vexing Zoo is probably not going to be for 4 or 5 hours yet. Maybe longer. It's probably longer than that. I think you should look at the list and estimate an hour and a half per league. So we're still working our way through this league, which means we have 1, 2, 3, 4 decks between now and then. So probably 6.5 or 7 hours before then. That'll be one of the last decks we play today. Yeah, we played Discovery in the last Griselbrand League we played. You can find that up on my YouTube channel and my website, like all my other things.
Yeah, Defera, it's definitely one of those more modern players would be happier as a whole if they conceded earlier.
Yep. Whenever somebody's like, I'm being miserable while playing this match of Magic, I'm like, well, you're playing that match of Magic wrong. So this hand is very land heavy, but I think it's hard to pass up push on one in a matchup like this. Discovery can also get us some velocity going.
Anner's so fast. Just
Anner is all over it. Cedric tweet.
CG Rancho Cucamonga.
Don't worry, we bought the nicest dartboard we could find. Oh, that's weird. I'll hope it's our Cleveland next year.
No matter what you think about Cedric, his social media game is on point. Great. I mean, just consistently.
Yeah, we played a lot of elves. I like the green black elves build a lot. It's a really sweet aggressive deck.
Microbiologist, it wouldn't surprise me if he did. Cedric is a man of strong opinions, and that's why people love him. Hey, Jeff, you gonna pay 4?
I'm gonna take 4 here.
Cool.
Which deck is more fun for me to play, Jeskai Thing or Jeskai Nahiri? Definitely Jeskai Thing.
Nahiri sounds bad. Remember when that was a good deck?
It's okay. I just, the Jeskai Thing deck is very proactive.
I can't hear you over the sound of my NASCAR going around turns 3
My and 4. NASCAR. Vroom, vroom.
Don't tell me that I shift down here with my NASCAR.
How much to brew Ionize? Oh, wait, Azani? I don't know what Azani does.
It's the black legend, the 6-drop that equal to cards in your graveyard, you put creatures into play. 1/1s.
Oh.
And then you can sack it to draw cards. It's like a super grindy pile that you would play.
Yeah, I could probably work with that. That's probably fine for a normal $50 donation.
It could be like a zombie infestation deck. It could be a dredge deck. It could be things. Also, sacrifice another creature.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fine for a 5/0. 5/0 donation.
Somebody mentioned that what was it? Like you get a Zonian in a slightly more rampy cord deck.
Okay.
Like it's whatever. It's all the same stuff. I don't care enough. Xerox Modern. What is that?
Yep.
Yeah, Brothers Fight. That is the downside of having a strong personality, and you're gonna eventually.
And I'll never forget it. Here's a hot take. People change a lot, and people who they are today can be very different than who they were a year ago or years ago, and holding on to this one thing that's one person has done forever ago and using it to define, especially when something as petty as trash talking a Magic deck or trash talk, like, it's, come on now. Your life will be happier if you don't hold on to pettiness like that.
I like to take those elements where you want to use the energy to, like, be worried about somebody else's comment and just laugh at them with all force. Just think about how shallow their life is because they wanted to be negative about that topic and really just lean into it. Don't ever tell them that, though, because that's how you start fights. Just think about that right in here.
All right, so we're going to 4 here. Lingering Souls would be a great draw. Liliana would be a great draw. Another Doomblade would be a great draw. We're going to draw a land to die. Ooh, we found candy. We found candy.
I'm in a Facebook group about being petty.
God bless. God bless.
At least you're honest. Is this Lily going to die here, Jeff? Oh, wait. Also, this is just, I think this is just Domain Zoo.
No, this has been a list that's been floating around with the Pelt Collectors and stuff in it. I'm gonna get, like, Blossoming Defense here and hate myself for waiting.
With the white and stuff like that? That's why I think it's fine. I think it's Domain.
I think they have Ranger in the board.
Sure, that would make sense, right? I guess until I see blue, I don't know it's actually Domain, and never mind, there's no blue. Okay.
Graveyard top. I would like to get myself out of Boros Charm range and other things like that here. I should have pushed this up first. I'm gonna discard the land that hurts me. They could have had like a Skullcrack there, so
we can starve our opponent of black mana.
That's true. That's true. They might have a basic. Hey, Sarah with the 5-0 donation. Thank you for that. 4 Azani or 3X, whatever. Sounds great. Will do. Thank you for the support. So looking for bombs at this point. I assume they're killing Lily here. Yep.
Hey, Mac. Our Spirits opponent showed up.
Yeah, I was impressed that we were able to weather the Spirits there at the end of that game. It's a real shame that, like, we've hit 7 lands and don't have any creature lands. Like, if we had a Shambling Vent here, we'd beat them by a lot. That is food, yep.
Okay, I'll go snag it.
Remorseful Cleric, brutal. So that cuts all of our Unburial Rites off as good draws here. Lingering Souls still like, yeah. Oh, magic. Oh, magic. Well, we have to do this because otherwise we're dead to the 4 on board. No, I mean, this is basically a Doomblade, right? Like, I think I keep the Unburial Rites because it's like 5 mana Doomblade. And I think I'm in for 5 mana Doomblade. Maybe I should hold this land because I could draw Collective Brutality. But I also have, what's it called in my deck? Yeah, good game, Dakota. I also have a copy of Elesh Norn. What?
Did we lose?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
We drew.
Yes.
One of these should be a Big Mac and cheese.
I think it's this one.
Compare. Yep, you good.
Cool.
All right, so we're gonna have some muting off and on for the next 10, 15 minutes or so while Kent and I each do have to listen to us chew. So I did binge Shambling Vent, but like we still drew a lot of other lands.
around with this.
Nope. This start is pretty good for us. I get to go ahead and curve this out pretty nicely. They're not going to be able to cast both these spells next turn, so I'm going to get to Brutality, bin my Unburial Rites. Hopefully we draw a Grave Titan next turn, so we get to bin Rites Titan, and then have a turn 4 Titan would be ideal. That's one of the nice things about Arena. Arena has audio that plays in the background, which is great. They have sound effects and things smashing into each other and dragons roaring. They drew Skullcrack. Good beat, good beat. So, I played the Inquisition here knowing their last card was Lightning Bolt, because I want to force the bolt out of their hand so they can't bolt my Shambling Vent next turn. I haven't looked at the GP and PT changes. I don't even know if I'll rant about them because like they don't impact me. Just remember that my same advice always applies regardless of what the GP and PT changes are. If your goal is to make money, don't go to a Magic tournament. If your goal is to have fun playing Magic, go to a Magic tournament. You should never go to a Magic tournament with the mindset of, I'm going to make money this weekend because I've practiced and going to do well. That's not how Magic works. Magic has a lot of variance. You can practice your heart out and still just like brick off and die. Just how the game goes. God, they have drawn Skullcrack every time, and now they're going to draw Boros Drum and kill us? Because that's how my life works. So, Smozdal, as a heads up, we're pretty much spoke for today. We're out of space for Cut the Lines today. So every deck on the docket today has 100 points behind it at the moment. And I think I actually, there's Tron on the list past that also has 100 points behind it. So basically I'm backed up.
Field off of white?
I could field them off of white, but I think fielding them off of white is worse than just guaranteed gaining 2 here. This is actually a close decision. Do I field them off of white plus Shambling Vent? Or do I stick Grave Titan and put them dead on board? The problem here is, if I stick Grave Titan, I'm dead to 3U, 3U. The downside to using the Field of Ruin here, I think I might want to just fire up Shambling Vent. Yes, it is. Yes, if you want to cut a cut, it's 200. I will play by that rule. I think I'm just supposed to attack with Shambling Vent here. I'm not using the Field of Ruin because my opponent's last card is Searing Blaze. That would feel absurdly bad. If you want to cut decks that have cut, you have to double them up, so it's 200. And again, that's to discourage you from doing it, because these decks have a lot of points and I want to play them as quickly as possible. Okay, now I think I'm going to Titan, because the odds of them having 3 are pretty low, and our clock's really slow. Is it 3 or 400 to cut? Let's just say you have to go up by 100 every time.
I think it should be exponential growth.
Exponential? No, man, I'm not greedy. I like money. All right, Shambles. Shambling Vent is a really underrated creature land. The 2 health in these derpy mid-range decks is so good. What?
What is it?
Autumn Squash Tube.
Oh, you got it instead of bread?
No, I got chips.
Oh!
I did a pick 2.
Oh.
That's why my mac and cheese was smaller than theirs. I love their seasonal soups. The Autumn Squash and the Summer Corn Chowder are both A+. Listen, Panera, you don't pay me to shill for you, but, like, I could work with gift cards, just, like, anything. Let's get a banner on the stream and just feed me, please.
You'd probably even let them just send you, you know, you don't get to order food, they just send stuff.
If any of your decisions revolving around going to a Magic tournament are dependent on the price of that Magic tournament, don't go to the Magic tournament. Stay at home and play Magic with your friends. Go work your job if your goal is making money.
You'd sign up for that if Panera just randomly sent you food at random times a day.
Yes, just
doesn't matter what.
Give me some gift card, something. Just work with me, okay?
Yeah.
Fatal pushes in, Thoughtseize is out, click submit. All right, we've got 4 brutalities in our main, so probably okay here. All right, I'm gonna eat my soup chat, and then we'll be back to full voice again. To answer your question though, Smodzle, sorry we're backed up. That would be a fine deck for a regular nation or a cut the line in the future, but I am just too backed up today. I've tagged Panera on social media a bunch. The only way you can feel cheated on a Magic tournament
is if playing is not fun.
Is if playing is not fun. You shouldn't be attending a Magic tournament for value. You should be attending a Magic tournament because the amount of money you're going to pay to play in that tournament will give you an appropriate amount of fun. You should, if you're going to a Magic tournament and you're not okay taking the amount of money you're paying an entry fee and setting it on fire, you shouldn't go to the tournament. You should assume every Magic tournament you play in has 0 return for you as a player.
Speaking of that, I need to light $50 on fire with Star City. Forgot to do that.
Our team's locked though, so you're fine.
Yeah.
As long as one of us is registered, we're good.
Oh, right, I would just have to.
I actually really don't like energy drinks, Nivik. This hand's great. If we draw an untapped black source on one, like a swamp or a fetch land, it's absurd.
Monster, though, if you want to reach out to someone who needs caffeine, I respect that drug, not this monkey.
I'm married, so all my money is basically set on fire. Look, that's between you and your boss, okay? That JJ, soon I'll get to start poking people with the stick. Almost halfway there. Ooh, more candy. I think the Inquisition's probably past its expiration date, and this Veil's probably not going to be particularly good. If you're smart, your boss is your wife. You think Liliana the Last Hope would fit in this deck? Yeah, I've got 2 copies of Liliana the Last Hope in this deck. They have a rest in peace, rude.
Sarav, something to keep in mind about the Chicagoland area. It's really expensive to host in the limits of Chicago because all the convention centers, it's just absurd. I know Norn from Nerd Rage, and he has a problem hosting events in the city of Chicago because of the price. It's like one of the more expensive areas in the country for events.
That's like on par with like NYC.
Yeah. And this is not meant to be a knock on these labor organizations, but I think some of it has to do with a very strong labor union that supposedly drives up the price. I don't think that that's true, but that's what I heard. Go unions.
Is Discovery good enough to consistently see Modern play? Yeah, I think so. I think any deck that's interested in getting cards into its graveyard and is looking for potentially a cantrip anyways, I think Discovery is very reasonable. Like, basically, the question you want to ask yourself for is this Discovery going to be good enough is, does this card have the possibility to draw you a card and a half or even 2 cards worth of value? And I think in decks that can answer yes to that question, it's very reasonable. Well, we're going to beat them the same way we beat them last game, which isn't by using our graveyard, but by activating Shambling Vent. I keep telling my wife that I want to give my full paycheck to you, but she keeps getting mad and going on about how we have bills and need to buy a house, doesn't she? Listen, keeping your wife happy should be your #1 priority. I'm speaking from experience here, okay? Valuable experience.
I do wish the event was in Milwaukee. I've played a couple ones up there. It's a nice convention center, but...
Danny, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support there. Welcome. So my opponent has Searing Blaze in their hand, so I don't want to attack with the Shambling Vent in, because the Searing Blaze will deal 1 to this, and then this will go up to 2 and kill my Shambling Vent. I don't think I want Liliana the Veil here, but I think I'm in for a Lingering Souls. Just like a clock that I can put on without activating Shambling Vent. And we're at 18 here, so just like any clock is very reasonable. Oh yeah, the remodels on a Columbus. I'm excited to see the Columbus Convention. They were in construction the last time I was there. It's been a while.
Oh yeah. I wonder if that parking lot's gonna be open across the street. I missed that one. They finally covered it.
We're in walking distance.
Oh. Wow.
CBM got a good deal. Good. The fetch land here kind of sucks for us because it means the Searing Blaze is active on our turn to tag our Shambling Vent. Owning a house is not all upside. Speaking as somebody who has spent, you know, $5,000+ on a major expense every single year since owning a house, it's not all free upside. Underella, you should watch the last Grixis video we played. It's up on my YouTube and it's linked in the playlist on my website. We played 4 Discovery in it, and I felt it was very good. So, I'm actually going to attack with these spirits first here, and this is a small thing, but I think it's important to note. By attacking first before I make my opponent discard, when I make my opponent discard, there's a good chance they just play both of the cards in their hand, which means they're going to kill one of these spirits with a Searing Blaze. So by attacking first, I potentially get more points of damage in here. Dead ABR, thank you for the 4-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I mean, there's only so many words you can use in the English language for things like that that make sense. So, like, having an overlapping title like that is probably fine.
Yeah, I do appreciate, or when folks talk about homeowning and stuff, maintenance and the effort and all that stuff you have to do is a lot. Like, I know multiple people who live in Seattle that are like, why would I use my resources to maintain a house?
The first winter we were here, the foundation leaked in that room over there that still hasn't been refinished. The second summer we were here, the main sewage pipe going out of the house burst, and we had to get that replaced. They dug up my entire front yard.
Just remember, if somebody rents for their whole life, they could literally just be going, I don't want to spend any time or effort on that, and that's fine.
All right, I'm gonna chow some soup. As always, I would encourage people to check out my past videos. I archive everything on YouTube, so your thoughts on, like, how did this play? If you don't have time to watch an entire 5-match league, I do a wrap-up segment at the end of every video for people who just want to cut to the chase and find out what my opinions were after having played the games. Most of the talking while muted is me telling Kent, hey, we're muted and they can't hear you.
Vast majority of it.
I'm really impressed that we beat Burning Spirits. The one match we lost was really close too. They wouldn't have ripped the spirit, we'd have probably dumpstered them. Yeah, there's pros and cons for both. I don't think it's strict upside or downside to renting versus owning.
The correct answer is both are appropriate. Or you know, whatever. Like, you know, find your situation and apply.
Is there a reason to not fetch before the Goblin Guide trigger? Yeah, so actually that's a good question. So the reason to not fetch before the Goblin Guide trigger is that I get to see the card that's on top of my deck if it's not a land, and that way if it's a spell that I want, I can just choose to not fetch, and if it's a spell that I don't want, I can then fetch to shuffle it away. So basically, if the Goblin Guide sees a spell, I get to use my fetch land with the Goblin Guide trigger as a scry, effectively. All right, lunch is done until snack time later. Done eating until we hit snack clock. All right, so since I drew another Shamble Boys here, I'm going to go ahead and tech in. Last turn, I didn't want to trade my Shambling Vent for their Monastery Swiftspear, but because I drew another one, I'm definitely up for that now. What's the best way to ask the wife to spend $100 on Magic Online? Well, you have... No, I'm just not going to tell you how to be an adult. Part of a good relationship is having balance in things like that, and having set amounts of money that you can spend for frivolous things like entertainment budget. Magic, that's where money you spend on Twitch streams and Magic Online and Arena and anything else, that's where that money should come from, your entertainment budget. So, I guess this is kind of risky here, because they could just like play a spell and then I don't kill my Shambling Vent. Yeah, this is probably bad. I wanted to prioritize killing the Swiftspear over the Goblin Guide, but this puts me in a bad spot. Yeah, these block orders were wrong.
Yeah, 100 card hero, that's the most important thing. Rent to own, how most financing works is you either have to put up a certain amount of money and that mitigates the risk. All rent to own does is says there's no forward payment and they're not going to mitigate the risk. They're going to charge you out the nose for it. Just don't.
Permanents you control become indestructible. All right, well, my blocking ordering didn't matter. They're down to 4, I am at 17.
I love when people don't understand how markets
business works.
Yeah,
yep,
yeah. Like yes.
You owe me.
There's a lot of critique over it, but to say that it's bad.
There's a Grave Titan on top of our deck.
Jeff, we can't Grave Titan in Shambling Vent though.
Correct. I love no. What a big fat pile of horse poop. Ha! What the biggest, most giant pile of horse crap. Clipsy, thank you for the 6-month resubscription. I appreciate that. Well, do I have any way to kill this card in my 75? What a brutal beating.
Nope. Wow.
I have a Liliana ultimate.
How many? Oh, but then they
How many brutalities have I cast?
1.
2.
All right.
I have 2 brutalities in my deck.
Hey, they're not attacking you, that's for sure.
Yep. I was so excited that we were gonna beat Burn.
The smartest.
The Spirit couldn't attack, they had no cards in hand. Taking them off white sources. They have so many white sources.
It's gonna be a while.
I'm gonna make a quality of life concession here. We're not on the 0 outer, but we're pretty unlikely. If I had 3 or 4 brutalities in my deck, I'd take draw steps here since they're at 4, but...
Might want to kick Moda. This is slow.
Yeah, Burn is very good. And Bridge is good in Burn. There are a lot of decks like this that only win through attacking. Bridge is one of the many cards that's like very messed up in Modern. If you could leverage it in any reasonable way, you can and should be working to leverage it. If you had blue mana, Dispersal would be an out. I don't have blue mana though.
No, it makes blue mana?
Stop it. Get out of here.
They don't have blue yet.
Collision round. Okay, I have to continue mulliganing here. I mean, like, Brutality is good here, but again, the important thing to remember is that Brutality is not card advantage. It is, you know, it's a way to kind of convert resources into other resources. So Brutality gets extra bad when we mulligan. Yeah, it takes people a while to come through to good innovations and things like that. Like, do you all put all the good cards in your deck?
While we were talking about how his opponent went and built a bridge.
Give me a land, please. I need cards. Give me a land. I need cards. Yay! God bless you, little goblin guy. I'm sorry I have to do this to you after you were a good little goblin to me, but
get out.
All right, look at that. Brutality was great. It allowed me to concede.
You were so dead there.
It's never beating in a Stern Bridge. Well, you know, didn't put a plan for bridge in the 75. Promptly died. It's unfortunate. I think if we had a plan for a bridge in the 75, we probably would have won that. Really we were in an absurd spot, especially that second game.
It's funny we're at this point, because the deck I registered for Detroit, Humans, literally was like, all right, I can never beat a bridge. Played 0. But, yeah, I didn't play any Rex Sages in the sideboard, because
I guess I could just, like, have put a blue source in.
One of those Godless Shrines becomes a...
I just turn a basic into it, too, even. Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, Colib, there's not.
There's, yeah, you have to play, like...
Not artifact and enchantment. I think there's Manic Vandals that hits.
Yeah, there's a Manic Vandal that hits artifacts. And there's War Priest of Thune that hits enchantments.
But there's not the Naturalize stapled together.
That just sounds like good, clean Modern. Beat my opponent's bridge with
powers.
Bloodmoon.
Don't just, like, not safe for work warning before you type that stuff out. Whew. That makes my stomach hurt thinking of that.
That's my new rule. Whenever I feel like yelling at someone, I just time them out and move on. It's a good system, really. Knight of Autumn is not a human. I think I'd rather Discovery, actually. Dig for that land drop.
Nachai Senpai, I have beaten a bridge one time with a Noble Hierarch. It was fun.
Yeah, it is a good thing that Knight of Autumn is not a human. I think at this point they're going to be carefully watching the creature types that they staple onto things and like making sure that they don't put human on anything too good.
Eventually it'll get to a point where they make another creature type and, you know, like fork off from there or whatever, yeah.
The MTGA account has sat down and replied to every single sending energy beam. That's pretty funny. Alright, well, they discarded my Unburial Rites, which lets me cast it a turn sooner, so that's nice. Hopefully we find some lands here so I can Inquisition this turn and then Unburial Rites next turn.
Now, if only instead of working harder, they would have worked smarter.
I think I have to keep both of these, then just not Inquisition this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Humans go extinct in the multiverse, right? We worked so hard to introduce them, and now they've gone extinct. So I think because they're passing with cards up here, I'm going to Inquisition this turn. I can Inquisition Mindstone Lingering Souls rather than running my Unburial Rites into a potential counterspell. There's also an argument for trying to get the Lingering Souls, or the Unburial Rites, in under a Cryptic Command here. I could see this going either way. I also probably should have shocked this in. Deals 2 damage. Sure. So is this about to miss then? I think that's what this means. I think this is about to miss. Nope. They just got a whole lot of nothing going on. They are going to need to rip really hot to beat this Grave Titan next turn. 3 lands in hand at the moment. We have 2 creature lands.
What is this? I think you're favored against the control decks with this pile.
I think our 4 Unburial Rites, 4 Lingering Souls, 4 Grave Titan deck is ahead in matchups like this. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Stretch there. Do you think? Are you comfortable with that statement, Jeff?
We're playing Magic using Exile, Mapamonte. It's Excel 95.
I thought this was MWS. Or Apprentice. It's Apprentice.
It's Apprentice.
Ooh, X-Mage. That's a good throwback.
Alright, so these paths come out. This Nihil Spellbomb is probably fine. A Fatal Push is probably fine. Run it.
Sid Vizio.
We're playing MTG using clip art. Basically the case.
Sounds right.
Q basic and old DOS. It's MTG using graphics that were made in LaTeX. God bless. God bless us, everyone. Is this Linux? I think so. Yep, looks like Linux. It was written in punch cards.
Somebody say punch cards?
Yep.
Holy smokes.
It's actually what I sent Kent upstairs for. There was a rat stuck in the machine, so he had to chase it out. Make sure the computer keeps working. It's sad. We never got the third one.
What artist did this one, by the way? It's a really good tulip.
It's gnawing on the wires. I would like the record to reflect that if I had prepared for Ensnaring Bridge, there's a good chance we could be 3-0 right now.
That's a bad thing, though, Jeff.
Listen.
You made a statement that if you 5-0'd, we're in trouble.
I did actually. Sounds great.
That's how you lose all your viewers. Just like, you didn't do it? You said you would, Jeff. I'm out.
This game is actually a cleverly designed J-Quad's Loom. I don't know what
J-Quad? I don't know what that is either, but I know J-Quad is not the way to say that word. I have no idea what that is. I'm gonna look it up.
What's wrong with .NET? There's nothing wrong with .NET from a generic application standpoint. It's just not what you write video games in. My friends and I have loved your arena streams from the other day. We, like others, are afraid to spend fortune on Moto with the risks with high risk to play Magic. I'm hoping more arena streams and slamming Fox on people. Thanks for the content. Thank you, Casizel, for the support. I appreciate that. And yeah, we're going to be doing arena every Tuesday going forward. We're going to be doing standard on arena. And if there are a lot of donation decks with high points for standard, we will do standard on more than just that day. But for the time being, we're going to just do arena every Tuesday.
Little history lesson. The Jacquard loom was a punch card power loom that simplified the process of manufacturing textiles, making such complex pattern as brocade, damask, and matelas. Anyway, you use cards to make this loom work. Stuff was lit back in the 1800s. That's all I got to, like, who thinks of that? If I punch this in here and it makes the machine do this other thing, oh, and by the way, we're making pretty things. It's not really any purpose, just to look cool.
Maybe playing this Liliana is bad. Playing this Liliana gives the opponent the opportunity to ditch Lightning Bolt and then Snap Bolt and attack her.
Fakokan, yes. All standard is on arena.
Yep,
and that is
arena is full rotation. So technically standard doesn't rotate till tomorrow. So technically standard...
No, I think their question is all standard that you are playing on your stream will be hosted
I will not be playing any standard on Magic Online. If you donate for an Arena deck list, or a standard deck list, we'll be playing it on Arena.
Oh yeah, we're not going over the J-Robes. We know it's on. Because, I mean, this is the best time to do maintenance.
We are... The list of decks that are in our queue right now are the list of decks that we are playing today.
Actually...
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... We have five more Modern Leagues today after this one. It's going to be a long stream.
What really confuses me with their desire to not have folks work overnight, how much money do they not make? Like, if you look at the 3 hours of downtime during the day and the 3 hours of downtime at night, the delta there has to be over the cost of paying 5 people to push the update at night.
Yep.
I'm going back to my original statement that WotC just has a proficiency problem with middle management. Like, I know enough people that work there that, like, they're passionate about their jobs and they love what they do, but that is some next level stupid. Like, lazy stupid. It's not real stupid. Just, what?
I do not have full standard on Arena yet. Basically, as people submit decks to be played and I don't have the cards to play them, I am giving Wizards of the Coast more money.
Yeah, man, it's definitely systemic.
I've put $650 into Arena so far, which, as someone who bought into Hearthstone this year, $650 really isn't that much.
Yeah, it's so true, Holier. Like, triple time would probably cover it or something. How many people play Arena at one time, especially in the first couple weeks when it's out? Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
We're getting attacked by this. I think we're getting attacked by this. They have a Surgical in their hand, which I kind of need to play around at some point.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Doing Arena on Wednesdays.
I mean, what I do for work really isn't that different than like what a lot of people do for work. Like, the specifics of my work are a little bit different than what some people do, but like the work in general that I'm doing, like, or like the fact that like how my taxes are handled isn't that different than most people. Collective Brutality. So they have Damnation and Surgical Extraction. I think I actually want both of these. I think I want both of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and Inquisition them and take the Surgical Extraction. This could just force them to like spot off a random Surgical too. Maybe I'm supposed to take the Brutality so they don't Surgical me in response. But if they Surgical me in response, I think I'm also okay with that. I don't stream Hearthstone anymore. The game just wasn't engaging for me after I stopped playing, and the viewer numbers are really bad. So. I don't know if you know this, but the mulligan system is different. In Best of 1, the mulligan system is different than in Paper. In Best of 3, it's the same. So the extra helping hands thing that they do, where it looks at the closer to your average distribution, that's only true for Best of 1 matches. So unfortunately, they shuffled my deck here, so the Collective Brutality is no longer on top. Yeah, I should have taken the Brutality, because like I can't even play Grave Titan here, because my opponent just like has Damnation in their hand. Although I guess I just go like Titan.
Yeah. Okay. Get out of here with this. I can't do things. They're gonna flip the Jace.
I think that's actually fine though, Demise. I think having a variance reducing mechanic for Best of 1 matches makes a lot of sense. Magic has a lot of variance in it, so removing some of that starting resource variance in the Best of 1 queue makes it a lot more reasonable. The way Arena does it compared to Hex is lazy and stupid. Hex probably will always have the best extra bit for helping people's hands compared to any other digital card game with resources in it.
Because it truly just limits the...
I do not have an Unburial Rites in the yard. They Surgicaled that in response to me Inquisitioning them. I sequenced my discard spells in a bad way. How did Hex do that? Hex used a modified probability distribution to look at the set of all hands your deck could generate, and then it trimmed the 5% most resource light hands and the 10% most resource light hands and 5% most resource dense hands. So basically, the way Hex worked, it didn't encourage you to play more or less resources in your deck. It just helped you regardless of how many resources you were playing. I don't think that's a ghost so much as just like they recognize they can never beat a Grave Titan. So we went from being really far ahead to being really far behind. Again, this is mostly my fault because I sequenced my removal spells in a poor manner. I guess we're technically ahead on board here, but it looks like they have a spell. A really good spell.
We can race it.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I guess they're getting their Jace back here.
Or the Nicol Bolus.
Well, they could be getting a Snapcaster Mage back as well. They return Snapcaster to their hand.
Brutal.
Oh, they knew it was in my hand from the first surgical. You're super correct.
Right. So I'll say this guy dropped into chat and just said like, "Hey,
do you game capture or window capture?" I'm using a real operating system that doesn't differentiate between windows like that. It just handles all of them the same.
Isn't that just an OBS feature though? No.
Windows renders DirectX and OpenGL windows differently, so there's two different capture modes on Windows for OBS.
Oh, wait.
So they have Snapcaster Mage in their hand, so I just like really can't do anything here. If I attack with Shambling Vent, they just snap bolt it. I use OBS, but things like capturing windows are OS specific.
Yeah.
So that's not, it's the same software, but there are a number of operating system specific features for things like that.
Jeff, I really wish you had a blue source here.
Me too. Inquisition's actually an okay pickup here because it's gonna force them to play the Snapcaster Mage out. Yeah, I'm streaming from a Linux computer currently.
The question always with emotes is how do you represent like a statement in a 5-pixel image?
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting ideas for emoticons, and then the problem is like how do you get them in a 28 by 28 pixel space?
Okay, 28 pixels. I'm sorry, not 5.
But the opponent's playing a control deck. They got like Nicol Bolas and stuff. I would not recommend the desk brand company that I have. I'd recommend doing some research and searching around. Their customer service is really poor and their product's just average quality. Occasionally have issues with the remote on the side. It's kind of surprising. I thought maybe they'd tap this plus bounce this.
I will say, Wog Shrug, I had the IKEA standing desk, just the stock one on their website for like $400. It's got no automation, just a hand crank. Great. We used them all at my old job. Like, just, they're a white one, large area.
What's my favorite deck at the moment? I really like Black Green Rock, it's the deck I'm playing this weekend. If you're a fan of Counterburn, the blue-red tempo deck on my website's also pretty good. I think those are my top 2 decks at the moment. There are a number of them that don't use components from China. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This one definitely uses components from China, though. And in fact, there were a couple of reviews I looked at online that like went and like bought desks and like physically took them apart and like examined like what the crank components were in the legs.
Because that's what matters for like like for that IKEA desk. I will say the legs and the top were like sturdy material. I know that's sometimes a critique of like cheaper things, but yeah. Kuntz, I've seen a few people use the Veridesk, or I've heard good things about it. And I was at an airport that actually had like Veridesk stands like in the common areas. Neat. And they were all like charging ports because it was, you know, supposed to be like a businessy area. And of course I saw some boomer standing at it with the desk in the lowered position, and I wanted to like walk over and just be like...
I don't think I'd play it in the main deck, Jap, but a couple in the sideboard might be reasonable. Ionize was really sweet, though. I liked Ionize in that list. I have no idea if Cletus is bugged. So I think this game comes back to me having selected the wrong card in that turn where I played the Inquisition and forced them to surgical. I think if I would have taken the Collective Brutality and snaked their Damnation, I probably would have been in a much better spot that game. 72-hour work weeks is tough with school, Nivik. I did like 40 to 60 when during undergrad, and that was very hard. I can't imagine doing 72.
Yeah, Nivik, when I did undergrad, I was working full-time at Apple and doing the Magic stuff. What you need to do, very simply, is set your expectations for school performance realistically and understand what your goal is. I maintain like a 2.5 because I didn't have any plans to go to grad school. Just don't overstress yourself with stretching it too thin, and realize that like if that 72-hour work week isn't exactly covering your expenses, it's extra money, and school matters, you might have to make that trade-off. Like it's a really tough thing, but feel free to reach out. I did the whole working while paying for school, all that stuff. So yeah, it's tough. Oh, and I am recommending that crank desk from IKEA. I just don't know what it's called, but it's IKEA's stock standing desk. I think it's a little bit cheaper than most of the fancy automated ones.
I got really lucky for undergrad. The place I did my undergrad program at, they had a program geared for working adults. So nice. I worked during the day, and then my classes were at 4 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Yep. J-Robes, you do, but it is not the IKEA, oh dear God, what's happening put together. It's like 5 screws. I had people at my old baseball job who aren't very tech savvy, and they did it.
You have to put together, like, this desk came to me in the mail, and I had to build this completely.
So it's the exact same way. You're not putting together, like, internal components. You just have to make the top of the desk stick to the bottom of the desk.
Want to have a cool message read on stream? Just sub to Jeff's channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you can do it for free. Distrominator, thank you for the 3-month free subscription there. I appreciate that. And at the tier 2 level at that, remember my tier 2 subs, they support me a little bit extra. So if there's a deck already in the queue you'd like to bump up, be sure to drop me a message and let me know, and I'm happy to bump that one on up for you. Thanks for the support.
Firecorn42, I will find the one that I used and I'll post it in the chat. Here, give me 2 seconds.
Is this it? People are linking something.
Ding dong, that is it. Skarsta. Yeah. There is some variability with the top size, like what the actual work surface is. And I think there's another model that's just bigger. I really like it. And what I did at Apple, I was a service manager. I ran I actually worked for Simply Mac, and I was a service manager for one of the stores there. And we were PSP for both years I was there. Whoop, whoop. It's a good time.
All right, so this is probably a shock Inquisition on 1. Do a spot check for discard spells out of them, so we can probably get this Liliana the Veil going. Also, my opponent's mulligan. My favorite thing to do after someone mulligans to 5 is to play a discard spell and take their cards away. Does Kent stream June? He will be soon.
Mattman, that is exactly it. Thank you for posting. Yeah, there's just variability in size. I use the larger one, and I love it.
If you think Kent is great, he is. You'll be able to find his stuff through this channel. So once he starts streaming, he's going to be lining it up smartly so he can finish up he can start as I'm finishing up. We'll just send viewers right on his way.
As the sun travels west, the viewers travel west to me in Seattle. It'll be perfect. Always under promise, over deliver. If it was 90 minutes, that means that update should have taken them 30. Just saying.
It says 90 minutes on social media. They should probably say something at social media. Yeah, correct, J-Ropes. That's called good management. It's called being good at your job.
Yeah, Nivik, that's smart. Apple or my store manager asked me to take the position with the understanding that I needed the ability to go to class and travel, and they hooked me up. Because when you're one of 3 technicians in like a 200-mile radius, I could actually tell them, like, figure it out. Right now, my channel it's twitch.tv/KentKetter. You'll probably see an old Hex thumbnail. Might be K-Ketter. that's it. Yeah, it's Kent Ketter. Look at that. Wow, that is an old title.
Yep.
Last time I streamed was a spoiler reveal. Thank you.
All about efficiency, man.
Right?
That question's gonna come up.
If you could ask Solar Flare another time, you need to add that stupid command.
Kent is reviving Hex with a guide up. I got bad news for Hex fans. That one's dead and gone.
Anything, I'm reviving red white aggro in all formats. That was my third game that I've top 8'd, or like made a cut on week 1 just playing a red white aggro deck. Having like not played, I did it in Eternal with, or not in Eternal, in Hex with the red white candles. I just hadn't touched the game in like a month and top 8'd the bash with it in like my first week back. Oh, it's so bad. Yeah, I still constantly like I hear people say things about their iPhones and I can't help but like turn around and just be like, no, you're wrong. Or
being awake for only 16 hours has the same effect on your driving as approximately 0.04 blood alcohol. That's woof.
Yep.
What is Hex? Well, you see Matthew Bamonte once upon a time in a galaxy far away.
Yeah, Lighthammer. I can remember being on like 48, 72-hour ops and stuff downrange when I was in the military, just being like, I think that's a building. No, it's a car. No idea. Get real loopy. Batman sounds great. I will definitely be around those weekends. I think one of the two I have like a one-day thing, but
not every deck on my website has a sideboard guide, Mitten Monsters. If there is a sideboard guide available for the deck list, it'll be linked in the deck description above the YouTube playlist, but not all 50 decks on there have sideboard guides currently.
I didn't top 8 with red white vehicles, but my team that week crushed that tournament with it. So I still
Chris Van Meter won that too.
Yeah, so I still absolutely claim that as a red white victory. To be clear, that was Andrew Tenjum. So heavy. But yeah, that was my first of seeing the truth that is.
Good luck in the rest of your league, Mana Symbol. All right, we're 2-2 after taking a tough beat to Burn, getting got by Ensnaring Bridge in games 2 and 3 after winning the first one.
We got. Black Knight Lives. Yeah, whatever. 35 Mike. I'll let you guys look that up.
I'm currently ADAF, and we regularly run 24 to 48 hours a week.
Oh.
What's ADAF?
Active duty Air Force.
Okay.
Yep. Are you SF Security Forces or whatever? I mean, it doesn't matter.
Chests usually sell between $2 and $2.5, depending on where the economy's at.
Fencing Brick, that is so true. If you want to know who killed Modern, like old Modern, Andrew Tenjum 100%. Between his twin piloting and his pod, oh, Chicagoland. Whew. Oh, sick. Yeah. I was a 97 Echo when I technically enlisted. These are all just like identifying.
I think Grixis leaves a lot to be desired. I think it just like doesn't have the tools to be proactive in the format. Just like has a lot of slow, clunky cards. Modern's a format that's generally about closing power.
The Sierras, I think those are the comms. Yeah, you got it. If you thought a human intelligence collector is a glorified data analyst, I've got hundreds of hours of interrogations to counter that with. It's actually the opposite of it. The human guys are the in-person guys collecting and talking to folks. Pretty much every other like analyst position or intel position would be nerdier. So like I patrolled and was supposed to act like an infantry dude.
I want to mulligan this. Tron will never survive this new hate card, says increasingly nervous man for the 7th time this year. How much caffeine have you had, Mr. Kidder? Oh no.
Just my normal section of a little bit of
they're here to police our fun, chat. They're here to police our fun.
I will say, officially, according to FM 22.2-3, it's not effective.
It's my birthday today, and I wanted to celebrate by donating to my favorite streamer for my favorite game. Good luck to your team this weekend. Thank you, Mr. Polite. Happy birthday. Hope you have a good weekend. Is Sultai dead too as well? I really don't think so. I think there's just like the Sultai color combination is the one that like Teamer, Esper, Sultai, these are the color combinations people desperately want to be good in Modern. They just consistently come up very, very short.
Oh, that's brutal. Sorry, Pope, I don't have your bits.
That's true. Mill was okay. Mill was okay. Mill isn't what people mean when people say Sultai, though. They're talking about some kind of big, mushy pile of cards that's not particularly
Just so you know, Jackal Girl, when somebody asked about Sultai, that was my first thought, because that deck actually looked passable.
Hey.
I was actually shocked.
Let's sit down for a bit.
I'm actually still shocked. Like, I don't like mill decks. That didn't look bad.
I've been streaming since before they announced the Grand Prix stuff, so I haven't sat and read it to have an opinion on it. Also, like, I don't really play in Grand Prix, so I'm not really a particularly good person to give an opinion on something like that. Okay, I have to do this. We'll see, like, double Mantis Rider and concede.
It's like... Oh, there's one. Oh, it is two.
It's kind of two. They actually can't cast it. I think I still take it.
Oh, yeah, you definitely do.
They're going to cast it at some point. We're going to die.
They're going to cast this Thalia, and you're going to concede.
Are now, like, what do you mean now, like, SCG events? They were already, like, SCG events before. Great Germ. Thank you for the 2-month resub at the tier 2 level. I appreciate that. Remember, my tier 2 subs support me a little bit extra, so you get to pick a deck that you get to bump a deck that's already in the queue, so feel free to take a peek there and message me what you'd like to see a little bit sooner. I played some Guild Wars 1 as a small child. It's been a long time since I played the MMOs,
Surprised you didn't play, like, OG RuneScape or something really lame.
Listen, man. They're going to be called Magic Fence and Magic Fest, so, like, that's, like, the same as the Star City thing, though, right? They've always had that type of stuff. This is Kent Ketter. He's been on the stream a few times before. He's one of my teammates for this weekend for the Open. Graveyard here, just like looking for Doomblades.
I want to make little kids cry, Demens.
I am now a large child. Will this still give me... If you put the punt at the start, I believe it would give you a timeout, Manitai. Thank you for the bits.
Captain Command, as much as I love a dragon and Scred's a good 1-mana removal spell, the modern format is so fast. It's just too fast. Like, if you want to cast 5-mana flying attackers, there's a standard format for you. I'm sorry.
So, I think I need Inquisitions to break up their early disruption. Arena needed to reinstall. I should probably launch Arena and let it update in the background.
You definitely should.
It's probably not a bad idea. Mute the audio so people don't have to hear it while we're doing this.
You remember last year when you helped me set up Linux?
Yep.
I absolutely, in an interview, I mentioned that I had worked with Linux and I had this HR person just convinced that I, like, and I was just like, I literally got to the point where I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I've worked with Linux, but it's not that complicated. And she couldn't have any of it. She's like, no, you need to put that down in your resume.
You're a hacker.
I'm like, you're a
Oh, look, it just went right up. I didn't have to reinstall. Doesn't look like it. Oh, maybe. I'll deal with it. Submit. Oh, you know what? I think I skipped.
JYU Jeruiv? I don't think there's been any Night of Autumn decks.
Oh yeah, it does have to reinstall.
It's better than that other error that caused it to, like, uninstall. Like, you heard about that during beta, right?
That's why mine's contained in a wine bottle where it can't touch the rest of my real operating system.
Bless.
Is your password Hoaglandia? You got me.
Playing Temple Garden almost feels as bad as playing Hallowed Fountain. I'm going to agree with you, but this man might have some strong words to say that's not the case.
Listen, I've given up my voice of resurgence addiction, okay? I'm not touched even. I can admit when things are bad.
No, Zach, it's actually Hoaglandia 42069.
Hoaglandia 42069. No scope. 360.
And his security question is definitely hui hui, are all the answers for all of them. Just hui hui.
Hui hui. All right, so
how long do you think until we stop using the term Grand Prix, like in common vernacular?
Never. You know what this application's called? It's called Modo.
Yeah.
Magic Online with Digital Objects.
I'm aware.
That's why. You know when was the last time we used that branding?
I mean, I never stopped.
Yep.
Hoaglandia 420 is always 69. Yep. I don't know what that means, but I'm with it.
It's Magic Online. It's Magic Online with Digital Objects. It was the original acronym for this game. Liliana the Veil. Read.
You could brutality this, right?
I'd like to cast Blade. So, any of you ever considered pickup games versus subscribers? Maybe. It's just hard to organize, and like I usually use most of my time on stream, so.
Living End, Dredge, Scapeshift, Breach, Eldrazi Tron. So Scapeshift, Breach, and Eldrazi Tron are all like somewhat slower turn 4/5 decks. I'd probably just say Bridgevine with main deck ley lines or 4 sideboard ley lines. You'll race the top end decks, and Living In might be tough, but Dredge is definitely a good matchup.
All right, so Grave Titan stuff.
Jat is correct. I think Infect would also be a very good choice.
I think adding 1 blue source to be able to randomly bounce cards like Ensnaring Bridge or maybe even Leyline of the Void with Dispersal is probably fine. Probably just like cut the 4th basic swamp for a Watery Grave.
Let me hook you up with some info, PF. Okay. 4 Destructive Revelries start in your sideboard. All of the hate is like turn 2 and after.
For which deck?
Bridgevine, which is what I've been talking about. I'm not worried about the hate outside of Surgical, and you are one of the best mediocre mid-range decks with casting your X spells and your Vengevines.
I've never installed Arena, even though I got one of the early invites to the closed beta. When I installed it, I was immediately hit by my antivirus. When I sent them a support request, the response was to disable my antivirus.
Wow.
That's funny, Greater Germ.
Gotta say, Germ, as someone who worked in technical customer support, I would have fired that person for helping you, because that is not, like...
Maybe put a Disenchant in the sideboard, or maybe like an Anguish and Making to tag artifacts and enchantments as well, but the deck was mostly for fun. You know, we went 2 and 3. I think we were really close to being 3 and 2 if I would have been better prepared for Ensnaring Bridge. We'll move along. Well, I mean, we're not splashing for access to a card. We're splashing for a card we're already playing, basically, which is different. It's not like I'm saying splash a color and then add a card for that splash color. I'm saying we already have this thing in our deck, so let's like play 1 shock so we can use all of it.
I think he was referring to a Disenchant, a separate effect.
No, they were saying why splash for a worse card when you could have Disenchant already? I'm like, well, we're not splashing for this. We're just like already have it.